I want to see Gisele because honestly, I'm so concerned about her. I'm so worried. I can't believe what these models were put through. And speaking of labor, I mean, this is part of the labor movement too. These people were trying to make a decent wage for being hot, and they were making it very difficult on them. In fact, I heard that Gisele couldn't breathe. She was deprived of breath.
Yeah, it was very tough.
Sanctuary for you, is it?
Look at it.
This is her home.
She looks very good. And
she looks great.
It's like a pretty beautiful place she has.
Yeah, Costa Rica. She needs sanctuary in Costa Rica.
I'm in a different place in my life. I'm able to choose more of what I want.
She's got a strong rack
I
day
think
there,
before I
isn't
was
she?
more surviving.
She does have a hide-a-rack. She's beautiful.
That's kind of a hide-a-rack. I would agree.
Go get it.
Not because she...
I'm glad that she's finally free of that tough, horrible life of living with the greatest athlete to ever play team sports.
Everyone knows Tom Brady is one of the most difficult people. I mean, no one can get along with Tom Brady.
Yeah,
he's impossible.
Especially since he's never home.
He's so controversial. He's a mean person. Obviously, everyone knows that.
But finally, at 43, she can be her own self.
had to, but because she says it's now about time to show the world what all those designers and all those photographers missed. Her true self.
You know, they were hiring Gisele because they didn't even know me. They just liked the way I looked and they liked the way
that's how modeling works.
Isn't that the definition of modeling?
What is she talking about?
I mean, how many...
If we knew her true self, we wouldn't want her to be the model. She complains endlessly. Oh, I gotta get me up to I couldn't breathe. I was in a studio taking pictures of me and I couldn't breathe.
I mean,
I don't want to know you.
Based on all the Instagram models that we see and the feedback they get on their pictures, it really seems like the audience does want to get to know the person behind the picture and not just, oh my God, you're so fucking nuts.
No, I know, it's ridiculous.
Such a moron.
I've done that. I understand that. And now I get to be me.
And what me is, she says, is not the spotlight-loving personality you might think.
I'm a Cancer. I like my
are.
home. I'm a little crab. I like my little home. You know, the crab, he has a little shell. He likes to go in their shell.
I believe the crabby part.
That's me.
But being an introvert and then becoming a supermodel seemed
That
like
was a
they're
very challenging thing to do.
entirely opposite.
But
That's why she couldn't breathe.
Her. Yeah.
Her. She saved me.
Her. That's how she refers to the alluring chameleon who's been staring back at her from billboards and glossy magazine
Oh,
covers.
she's two people. She's so incredible. She's two different people.
For many reasons. It was easier to deal with criticism that way as well. You know, we need to change the hair, it's not working. We need to change the makeup or the clothes, everything is terrible. And then if you're young and you're thinking, I'm terrible, like I'm doing something wrong. So
But I can't
Then you're pretty
imagine
dumb.
You're 14 and people are talking about your eyes are too close or your nose is too big.
I still have the same nose and the same eyes. I know
Yeah, half the world is masturbating to you, and you look like shit.
It's,
Right, but like that's hard to hear at any age. But if you're 13 or 14 years old,
this is why the her was very important for me.
I think you're really ugly.
Here that did shield her from the often brutal side.
That's why they didn't pay you anything.
Also allowing her
That's why they
to
paid you
flourish.
minimum wage.
Oh, I love your face. It's so unusual.
One of the highest paid models in the world. Seems like she had a talent for the business side of show business too.
Oh, she's so smart.
Business side.
Glitz and the glamour. The rare times when she was alone.
And I was feeling like I was living this life that was just like
Glamorous.
killing.
I was exactly, you know, drinking mocha frappuccinos for breakfast with 3 cigarettes, drinking a bottle of wine at night to calm down from all the coffee I was drinking, not sleeping and traveling and working. Like I basically burned down my adrenal glands and my nervous system couldn't take it anymore.
How unrelatable is
She
that?
burned down her adrenal glands.
From drinking lattes in the morning and wine
How
at night.
terrible.
Get the fuck out of here.
I felt bad about it. You know, I felt like I couldn't tell people that because they looked at me and they're like, she has everything. Like they wouldn't even understand.
So when did
No, they
how
wouldn't.
did the anxiety start to present itself?
You know, I was in tunnels, I couldn't breathe. And then I started like being in studios and I felt like suffocated. I lived on the 9th floor and I had to go up the stairs because I was afraid I would be stuck on the elevator and I'll be hyperventilating. Because, you know, if you can breathe, even when your windows are
sound like
open, you feel
a
like, I don't
nut.
wanna-
Hey, I got an idea. You're a model that's really rich. Don't live on the 9th floor.
Duh.
live like this, you know what I mean?
Did you
So
really think about jumping?
Yeah, for like a second, you know, because you're like, I can't.
She didn't jump.
I thought of what she thought of
I
committing
heard she was close to committing suicide. She thought about it for like a second.
a second. And only because the interviewer brought it up. She didn't bring it up.
She, I would not have any interest in.
Instead, she says she stopped everything in a single day. A complete detox. No caffeine, no sugar, hardly any alcohol.
Oh, it must have been
And
tough if she
began
quit in a single day.
It must be boring.
meditation.
You know, I wake up at 5.
5.
Yeah, I like to wake up early. I like to greet the sun. You know, sometimes you're tired and you're like, okay, like
I have a feeling the sun rolls its eyes every morning when she says good morning.
A few years later, when she met NFL superstar Tom Brady, she says she was a different person, happy and healthy, and looking to
and he
focus
ruined
less
her.
on
Must be the most boring woman on earth.
Do you miss the spotlight, though, a little?
No,
Bullshit.
Not at all.
no, not at all.
Then why are you doing a national TV interview?
Every day and make them breakfast every morning and just be with them and just, I mean, what a gift. They grow up so fast and it's like that, you know, like you wake up and you're like, what happened?
She and Brady now share custody of those children. After 16 years together, their divorce was as public as their careers. Painful for everyone, she says. And yet,
I look into my life and I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have any other life. I wouldn't
Wait,
have
but
done
you
anything.
thought about-
you couldn't
Change
breathe.
something in your life.
Yeah, and you
I
thought
wouldn't
about
change
killing
it.
yourself for a second.
Not even getting divorced.
I mean, it's not what I dreamed of and what I hoped for. You know, my parents have been married
Ooh, I
for
could see her being mad at somebody and
years,
being very unpleasant.
And I really wanted that to happen, but
Didn't you hear her talking really fast, yelling at
Oh
you?
yeah, and you pick up every third word.
the way you are in your 20s, it's, you know, sometimes you grow together, sometimes you grow apart. I mean, he's the father of my kids.
Interesting.
Wish him the best, and I mean, I'm so grateful that he gave me wonderful children. And I
Oh,
think,
that's it?
you know,
Yeah, if you had
When
to
a
hear her
dog
clapping her trap for
shuts all the
16
doors.
years, that might be enough.
You must have some pretty good
grow up
genes.
onto this blooming field of echinacea.
yes, nature is my happy place.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm in nature, I'm happy.
Seems like you talk about yourself a lot.
God, anytime I'm in nature.
Nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Could
of
you talk
western
about yourself a little bit less, please?
been organically growing any number of healthy herbs to be turned into supplements for nearly 40 years. And for Bundchen, it's as much a brand as it is a lifestyle.
That's how I treat my kids. You know, we use elderberry
They're a
syrup,
brand.
like, which is a huge, amazing immune booster, and my kids and I love it. We
Are
always.
your kids on board with all this?
My-
That's the single most boring sentence I ever heard.
They're like, Mama, I want to eat this food. I'm like, well, if you can tell me what that is, then you can.
She just signed
Oh my
on to be a
God.
wellness
Even her
ambassador.
kids hate her
Herbs.
because she won't let them eat real food.
Journey I've been on.
A role she says that's less about business and more about teaching what she calls the wisdom of plants.
Great.
So there is different herbs that might have a bigger impact on your system
thanks-
than others.
thanks,
right?
Dr.
So
Gisele.
Kind of like
Experiment a little bit.
experimented, and this is what I've done. Like I've been taking herbal remedies pretty much all
Oh,
my
so
life.
it's not genes at all.
Oh,
Town in
it's
South-
It's not that you were just hot or something. You're just really smart.
herb garden of her own. Bundchen fondly remembers how what her grandmother plucked from it seemed to be able to cure almost any ailment.
She was magical for me because she could fix anything. She could plant anything. She could make anything grow. She could heal anything. She was just amazing, right? She was this like.
That sounds pretty fake.
She's amazing.
We were deprived of her.
I like to put it in my mouth and
Why did
taste
she
it.
talk? Why did she talk to people in the medical community then?
I'm sorry.
It's too good of a
She's crying.
Yeah, because her grandma
Look
died.
how quickly
years
she
ago.
went to tears from being so happy.
After two
You think she's unstable
Think she's ever done that before?
in front of Tom?
she now realizes that her ultimate destination may have always been home.
I'm a small town girl.
It's all
You
about
know, you
her.
can take this girl out of the small town, but not the small town out of the girl.
As a model, Gisele
God.
Bundchen called herself a silent actress.
Oh, shut a
hopes that
silent
silence, though.
actress. Shut up.
Now, no more.
I'm gonna show you my
How often,
body.
how often does she think about herself? It seems like it's pretty much all the time.
I don't have to play a character. I can be me. And that's liberating.
I think that's a shot. She did not like being
I want
Mrs. Tom Brady.
I want to transcribe this and say all of this about myself and see if people still like me. Can you imagine repeating every word Giselle spoke for like a week
tweeting
straight
it out, yeah.
and seeing how people respond to you and tweeting it out?
I
That's
will
a great
spank
idea.
my butthole a little bit.
Especially the part about the herbs. God, that was such an annoying interview.
I'm about to choose more of what I want. It means being divorced.
Yeah.
I was just surviving when I was married, and now I'm living.
Thriving.
She's just surviving with Tom Brady. Just surviving.
On millions of
Just
dollars.
terrible.
On millions and millions of dollars.
Now I'm able to choose more what I want. God, it's
Great.
obnoxious.
You must be the most boring woman on earth.